Welcome everybody, my name is Josh Rivers, and today I'll be talking about the entrance looks from RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 3. So this is based on the 15-minute preview that they showed for the first episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 3, and I am talking about it beforehand, hopefully to get it out directly after the full episode airs. This is so I can actually get something out quickly for you guys, because to be honest, it's probably going to take me a couple days to get a recap out. Otherwise, because if you remember my season 9 recap, which none of you do because none of you were here for that, the first episode was 50 plus minutes long. So hopefully that we can avoid that. So I'm going to go straight into the looks, but just a side note, the Handmaid's Tale thing with Alaskan Chad was really cute. I really liked it. It was really funny, even though I have no context of the show or the book. But the actual skit itself was funny. You didn't really need that context to know it, but I did like it. So going from the beginning, we have Trixie Mattel, and she is looking like one of them baby dolls from the 90s. There was a big trend of baby dolls in the 90s roller skating. Don't really know why that was a thing, because you know what? This and the baby dolls have something in common that I don't really appreciate, and I just think, like, as a role model, she shouldn't do. She's not wearing a helmet, and that's just not something you do. Trixie, girl, you need to understand you're very influential. You need to teach people to wear a helmet. It's very dangerous. You can't do that. But she seriously does look like one of those baby dolls from the 90s that would rollerblade. Not roller skate, rollerblade. She's blading. Don't get it twisted. Why was there a trend of baby dolls in the 90s rollerblading? I'm just, this could be a controversial opinion, but I don't think babies should rollerblade. Maybe I'm ageist or something, but that's just my own opinion. And you know what? You can take it or leave it. But the overall look was actually really nice. It was cute. I was fine with it. I feel like she could have found rollerblades that were cuter and like really fit the outfit better, because they were a bit striking compared to everything else. So I would have preferred a better pair of blades. But besides that, it was a nice look, and it was cool to see her skate into the entrance. As far as her personality, and something that I'm somewhat worried about, considering that I didn't like her that much on season 7. I'm not really liking her that much on All-Stars 3 either, and I'm starting to understand why. She is not really changing her sense of humor. She's not really changing her approach as to her jokes. And those jokes work way better on stage or on, a web show or a TV show way more than they will work on Drag Race, because the punchline isn't getting through. It's kind of just seeming mean-spirited, and I don't need my drag queens to be nice. It's just like it's obviously trying to go for a joke, and it's not really landing for me. That's just how I'm feeling right now when it comes to what she's saying. Granted, this is based on the first 15 minutes of the show. That's a very small portion. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes to Trixie. But it is coming off on the wrong foot for me anyways. And then we have Milk, who comes in with this denim Pinocchio look. And if you're going to do a look that's reminiscent to a look you did previously, it kind of needs to be better. And it's not. It's not better at all. Like, my main problem is if she's going to call it a denim Pinocchio look, it better resemble Pinocchio. It's not. It's really, really not. It's kind of its own thing, because, like, the pieces originally on season 6 that were showcasing what the storyline was the nose, the marionette paddles, and her movements. None of that was there. That completely loses what the entire outfit is. And it just doesn't work for me. And I just prefer the original look better than what this one is. I don't think it's bad, and I do think it represents who Milk is as a queen. But overall, I can't say I like it. I don't think it's bad. I just don't like it. As far as how she was during the entrances, she is, rubbing me the wrong way in a somewhat similar way of Trixie, but this way, I never considered Milk to be the funniest person in the first place, so, like, it's not that her jokes aren't landing, that she's just saying rude shit, and it's not a joke. And it's not, again, I don't need my queens to be nice, but she seems very uppity. And that's one thing I don't like. Like, she's saying things not because it's funny, or not because, this is something they're doing wrong. It's more because how great she is, or rather how great she thinks she is. That's how it's coming across. and it's really not working for me anyways. It's really not like going well for me. So that's a problem. That's something I'm not enjoying. Next we have Chi Devayne, and I have to say this is probably my favorite look. And here's a few reasons why, and I don't even think I need to argue it, but it's just a good look. First off, it's a nice color on her. It really works well. It really does represent her very well because it feels reminiscent of something she's worn before without being something she's worn before exactly. And yes, the material is garbage bags, but it really works well for me because it doesn't read as garbage bags. It reads as, a fabric instead of garbage bags. It's beautifully crafted as well. I just think this is a very tight, sharp look. The only problem is that hat falling off. It's like she should have probably, bobby pinned it like that. The hat and the wig should be attached. There should be no separation of the two. So that was my only problem. But besides that, I think it's a very strong look. It's a very good look. I don't really remember her saying anything too bad or good. Throughout the entrances, I don't really remember her saying anything particularly one way or the other. Oh, except for when it comes to Thorgy. Speaking of Thorgy, her look. I don't really like it. I feel like I want to like it, but I don't. I just don't like it. I don't think it's a good look. I do love a wig that's obviously not hair. I love unconventional material wigs. That's my favorite thing. Like with tulle wigs or like foam wigs. I love those. Those are my favorite. So that's a plus for me, but the whole rest of the outfit is just it's not good at all. It's not my favorite thing in the world. It's fun. It's energetic. And that's what Thorgy is. But I've seen Thorgy look better and she doesn't look that good to hear, to be honest. Going back to what Chi said and what Thorgy says, she's more prepared this season because it's not the Bob show. And one thing I don't like about that is it's kind of insinuating if Bob wasn't there, she would be doing better. Which, she probably would be, but like if you're in a competition and you're not outshining someone, that's just because they're doing better than you. Not because they're pushing themselves in the front. It's because they're doing better. That's my big problem with what she's saying. And that was my big problem with her on season 8 is that she just seemed very bitter at the end. And I hope that doesn't come across, and I hope this season she comes through with that. Next we have Morgan McMichaels, and she is looking beautiful. One thing though, I kind of wish the shawl, cape, coat covering, it's a lot of things. I don't know exactly what it is. I kind of wish it was brown instead of red. I think it's red. I'm just a fan of brown on brown on brown. Besides that, she looks gorgeous. It's a great look. As far as her personality, and this is one thing that is different from, the cutness of Trixie or Milk, is Morgan does have a sharp tongue and has a strong mouth and will say what's on her mind. But it's kind of advice. Like to Milk, when she's talking shit on Milk, it's like, well, stop thinking you're ahead of the game and start being humble before she starts ruining herself, because that can be a problem. Or Ben needs to start thinking about now instead of thinking about the past. Those are the kinds of things, like, in a way, she is kind of being a bitch, but she is kind of being a helpful bitch at the same time. It's not just out of pure malice, what it does somewhat feel like when it comes from the other queens that I talked about previously. Next up is AUSA, and oh god. It's a good look. One thing is, I saw a screenshot of the cast before, which came to me. I don't look for this shit. By the way, if you don't know how I work, I don't watch trailers. I don't watch anything, especially anything that involves the main stage. I don't do that. I avoid that with all of my all I can, because I study that shit and I'm like, oh, this outfit, even within the few seconds that it showcases, I'm like, okay, this girl has this outfit, this girl has this outfit exists. I know this girl ain't going home at this point. I remember all that shit and I don't want to see it. So that's why I don't. So I saw this one picture and I studied it hard within a minute of seeing it, and I couldn't recognize AUSA for a second. I don't know why it was. It's just I couldn't tell who AUSA was. Once I realized it was AUSA, it's like, okay, that clicked and that makes sense. But it's just not the most memorable look in my opinion. I think the hair is amazing. I love the hair. But the entire outfit just isn't working with me. The scooter, I like. I like the scooter, but she drops the scooter and she doesn't have the scooter anymore. It's like that scooter was gone. Why do you leave out the coolest part of your outfit? Next up is Ben de la Creme, and she comes in much like Milk with a look inspired by a previous look that she did, which was her season 6 reunion look, and it looked better at the season 6 reunion than it does in the workroom. Okay, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing. I don't think your entrance look to Drag Race needs to be the most extravagant thing in the world. I do not think so. I just think it needs to represent who you are. And that is what Ben is doing. Like, that outfit totally screams Ben de la Creme. That silhouette is Ben de la Creme. But if it's reminding me of something else, and that something else is better than what you're wearing, I'm just gonna think of this one as less than. And that is what's happening here. Like, it's not a bad look at all. It's not a particularly great look, but it is one that does define Ben. It's not as good as the one she's reminding us of. But one thing did happen that I love, and it's my favorite thing of the show. I talked about it before, but I love it when queens lose accessories. I think it's the funniest thing. I can watch it for hours. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just have a list of them, and I go back and I just watch those 2-3 seconds because they just fuel my soul. And that's when a queen loses an accessory, like an earring or, you know, tentacle fingers, whatever it may be. And Ben's little, you know, pattern that's on the dress in her hair fell off, and I found it to be the best thing ever. I watched it like 5,000 times. It's my favorite thing in the world when, you know, stuff just falls off of drag queens. It's the best thing that can ever happen to someone. I love that shit. But even though I didn't like Ben's entrance look as much as her reunion look, one look I loved from her, and that's her interview look. That Jughead look is everything. I live for it. It's so fucking good. She looks so adorable. It's amazing. That's one thing I love. Next, we have probably the most polarizing look. And I only say that because it's the only look I've ever seen people talk about so far. And that is Kennedy Davenport's entrance look. So there's two boats, people that love it, people that hate it. I love it. I think it's great. Genuinely, I do think it's a really nice gown. Yes, it's over the top, but she's a fucking drag queen. It clearly has a story. She's holding a disco ball. It's a good, I think it's a good look. Now, the hair. People have problems with the hair, but my argument for it is no other hair could live up to this. No other hair. It had to be that mushroom cloud of hair to really pull this look together, because no other hair could work with this. Like, nothing is so over the top that I could work like this. I don't know. I approve of this look. I think it's good. I don't know why anyone dislikes it. I really question people that dislike this, that just don't find it good in any way, shape, or form. Like, I really question the taste of someone that, like, doesn't like this. Sometimes I can see why people dislike something. This is not one of those times. This is really not one of those times. I just think it's a genuinely good look. I think it looks great. She's wearing it well. And I think it's totally Kennedy Davenport. It's something she's done, you know? It's over the top. It's like, I love it. I love it. That's all I can say is I love this look. And lastly, we have Shangela, whose look is fine. She color coordinated with the box, which I appreciate. I love that. But it's an okay look. I don't think... It's really cutesy, and that's not really how I define Shangela. I don't really see her, you know, death dropping in this. You know, it's kind of like that sort of a feeling. So in that way, it feels like it's not really representing who she is. But it's not a bad look. It's actually a really good look. I think it's really cute, but it's not totally Shangela. But I do want to say, out of everyone in this cast, every single person, Shangela has changed the least. And I don't mean in drag. I mean out of drag. She is the exact same person. I would not be surprised if it weren't for, like, her hosting everything and her, you know, working very hard since season 3. I would not be surprised if she was stuck in a cryo chamber for the past, you know, however long it's been since she's been on the show. Because she acts and looks the exact same. The exact same. So if you were not a fan of Shangela in season 3, you're not going to be a fan of Shangela here. Because she is the same human person. You know, her skills as a queen may be improved, but the person underneath the makeup is the same. And I'm just gonna give you some advice. If you don't like Shangela, start liking Shangela. There's no reason not to. Just enjoy it. Accept that she's a funny and amazing and charismatic. Just understand that and just accept it, because I see a lot of people just hate on her all the time for really no good reason. And start enjoying life. And by life, I mean Shangela. But yeah, that was the entrance looks of All Stars 3. I think, yeah, some I didn't enjoy, but I don't think there's any that were, like, incredibly bad. I don't think there was an incredibly bad look in the bunch. My favorite was Chi Devayne's. I will say that time and again. I think it was a very good look. It looks great on her. And yeah, so after that, RuPaul comes in the workroom and says that there is going to be a 10th queen. Of course, we knew that, but the queens didn't. And of course, they're like, oh, wait, if they didn't walk in the room, it better be something big. But they didn't show that in the 15-minute preview, so you're gonna have to wait to see my reaction. Hopefully my plan is to have recaps out on the following Saturdays at 10 a.m. That's my goal. That's basically the same schedule that I tried to do for Dragula, is you skip a day and hopefully post it in the morning. There were days, because of personal issues or technical issues, where I had to post it that evening. That may happen. I will try to get them out as quickly as possible every week. But yes, that is that is my life right now. But yes, I will try to get out the rest of the episode out at that time. I believe that's all I had to say on it. My name is Josh Rivers. Thank you so much for listening to the Ramblings of a Clown. You can follow me on Twitter at PixelPixelBoom. You can leave a comment below telling me your suggestions on what I should talk about in the future. I would like to thank my Patreon patrons, Thomas Is Not Okay, and Riley G, and the rest of my patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. You guys really help me out. If you would like to be a patron and want to see what perks you get with that, you can do so at patreon.com/PixelPixelBoom. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time, and remember to have fun. Bye, guys.